Abdullatif Touncara. Welcome to African Djembe drumming. Touncara says, the universe is composed of energy, vibration, frequency, and rhythm. From the smallest subatomic particle to planets, solar system, universe, universes. Now, some people try to tell me when they come to class that they have no rhythm. Sometimes I ask questions like, how did you get here? They think they came on an Uber or a taxi. They walked. And to walk takes rhythm. So while you're sitting here watching me talk, are you breathing? Are you pumping blood? Cellular division and repair? Digesting food and thinking? That's 5. It's impossible not to be polyrhythmic by life. Every human mammal heard the same heartbeat for 9 months inside of their mother. Irrespective from where you originate on the earth, it's a base rhythm for a lot of things. So we're going to cut here and give you 10 seconds of a heartbeat, a real human being heartbeat for 10 seconds. Here we go. In language, the tonality of language is evident in the sounds of the words. In every language, some are more tonal than others, especially African and some Asiatic languages. Prayers were originally sang. As an example, I'll give you the azan, the Muslim call to prayer. Allahu Akbar. That's Arabic. Ishe Baba mi lori mi, Oshe Baba mi. This is Yoruba. Basically it says God is working on me, thank you God. Sanskrit, Aham Brahmasmi Tatavansi Satatananda Samkalpa Moksha Shivashakiratam. You look it up. Now, Nichiren Buddhism. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. I used to hear that as a kid in Japan at the shrine when you walk past it. It was hard and fast. Beautiful though. The rhythm is the harmony of the languages, especially African and Asian languages. Here's an example of a few. Ekaro, this is good morning in Yoruba. Nagadef, how are you? Jamirek, peace only. This is Wolof. Kedu, this is the greeting. Oduma, fine. This is Igbo. Nihaoma, how are you? Homa, fine. This is Mandarin Chinese. French, simple. Bonjour, c'est va bien? German, Guten Tag. Russian, Dobry din. Polish, Den Dobry. Turkish, Nasolsan. Armenian, Inchmeses. Spanish, Buenos dias, Buenas tardes. Get the point? Japanese, Konnichiwa, good afternoon. Ohayou gozaimasu, good morning. You start hearing the tonality of languages. African language, if I take you to Swahili, Avarigani, Dina Lakanini. Okay? You're going to hear the tonality of languages in every language, but more so in the African and Asiatic languages, as I said. The last two I'll give you, Sawadee-krap, which is Thai, Isama, Ibikarato, which is Mandingo, good morning. Oral traditions, especially African, precede our modern written languages, even though the oldest languages are, what do you think was on the side of the hieroglyphics on the pyramids? What do you think Arabic is? What do you think Aramaic is? We have Manding, so this covers all of North and West Africa. We did have writing primarily. And the drumming specifically was not used just to entertain people. It was used for communication, spiritual, secular reasons, healing reasons, not simply for entertainment as people think here. So originally, the drummers were probably linguists. They had to know different languages to be able to interpret the sound. So I have a question for you. Would you like to yell for half a mile or a kilometer, or play a drum, a djembe, or some other drum, which is what was done years and years and years ago before you had telephone, telegraph, and internet? Djembe is originally from the Malian Empire, which is much larger than what you think of as the modern country of Mali. We're going to show you now the map. Ghana. This is in the western part, which is, if you want to say, the Soninke. This is the first Malian Empire. The second one was called Mali. If you look on the map, you can see the modern countries of West Africa that are all part of the Manding Mali Sahelian area. This is the area around the edge of the Sahara, the desert. Sahara in Arabic means desert, so you're saying it twice if you say Sahara Desert. You can see that from the map that this includes the country of Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Guinea, Gambia. Also, you've got parts of Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, Liberia, parts of Ghana, a little bit of Nigeria, Niger, and Mauritania. This is all part of that Sahel region in just West Africa, not including when you get to Central Africa, etc. Now, the djembe drum is said to have been invented in the 12th century by Mandinka people. It is now what is Mali, West Africa. It has been played in West Africa for generations, forming an integral part of ritualistic life in Mali, Guinea, Senegal, Burkina Faso, and other neighboring West African countries. What is the djembe drum used for? Musicians use the djembe as an instrument of dance at marriages, baptisms, funerals, circumcisions, and excisions. They also play songs during the plowing, sowing, and harvest, during courtship rituals, and even to settle disputes among the men of the village. The same similar hourglass-shaped drum, which is double-sided, can be traced back to antiquity, is known as by a variety of names including gangang and Yoruba, and dondo and songhai. These are the talking drums. They have two heads and strings, and you tighten the strings, you get the difference in the pitch. So if I say dekaro, you can actually hear it on the drum. They are referred to as talking drums because they're able to mimic the sound of human speech in terms of tone and accent and emotions. In many traditional cultures, drums have a symbolic function and used for cultural, spiritual, and religious reasons. Drums are often used nowadays in music therapy, especially hand drums, because of their tactile nature and easy use by a wide variety of people. The djembe or drum itself is a goblet shape. It's made hollow of wood body with the skin fastened over the top. The skin is traditionally rawhide, such as goat or cow. Sometimes they use antelope or something else. But nowadays, sometimes we use synthetic skins out of fiberglass, because when you go to Houston, Texas, Atlanta, New York, etc., there's a lot more humidity, and if it rains, your rawhide skin will absorb the moisture in the air and your drum goes flat. No fun. So that's why we started using synthetic ones out of the fiberglass. It looks like a clear plastic, but it's actually fiberglass. The skin is stretched tightly over the shell. We use metal rings and rope, and I'll show you in a minute. Traditionally, the djembe is played with both hands as the drummer stands with the drum between his or her legs. We also wear it with the strap, and I'll show you the picture in a minute. The drummer also can sit on the stool, the chair behind the drum, and we can also put the drummer on the ground, and the drummer either sits or stands on above the drum. We're going to tell you now about the modern history of the djembe. Katherine Dunham in 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson nominated Dunham to be technical advisor, a sort of cultural ambassador to the government of Senegal, West Africa. Her mission was to help train the Senegalese National Ballet and to assist President Leopold Senghor with arrangements for the first Pan-African World Festival of Negro Arts in Dakar, 1965-66. Later, Dunham established a second home in Senegal, and she occasionally returned there to scout for talented African musicians and dancers. This is how Mor Cham, Akan's daddy, and Zachariah Saoudjouf arrived in America to East St. Louis with the first djembes in America. Dr. Zachariah Diouf is an ethnomusicologist and my master teacher for djembe and other Senegalese drums. So my lineage goes from Dugufano Camara to Zach Diouf to Papa Lati Camara from Mali, Guinean Famalus Konate, Abdul Jakate, Mamadi Keita, and more. My master teacher Zach says originally djembe was only in the shrine and only priests played it, when in the mid-1940s it was brought out by Dugufano Camara and to be played by others including Zach. So djembe had a specific purpose originally. Now it is not a griot instrument, so everyone else is allowed to play it. Now there are many creation stories concerning djembe, but they are stories, as usually storytellers do not know the true origin. So I'm telling you the true origin. You have stories about djembe was a mortar and the woman was pounding in the mortar and she knocked on a hole in the bottom and they made a djembe out of that. You have stories that came from all over. They came from the sky, it came from here. Okay, that's a good story. That's about it. Now Now originally on the djembe, you don't have one in my hand yet, but you'll see in a minute. You didn't have the rope that you have now, that you tie a djembe with, up and down, and you make a pattern, a weave, and it goes. Originally, the djembe had the cloth, and you had wooden pegs. You had to heat it with a fire to tune it. So be glad you have this rope on here now. To show you what a modern djembe looks like, now first thing you have to remember, the wood is different from the wood in America. The wood in Africa has got different names. You won't find cedar, pine, or all that. You'll find linge, dimba, batinke. Those are the woods, and each one of the woods and more, they're molecularly more dense. So you can actually have a thinner drum, and it's very hard, and you can sit on it if you want. So that's the difference between there. What you have here is close to the African wood is, I think, black walnut and mahogany. But everything else in America is not the same. Now to show you the goblet shape of a djembe, here's one actually made in Ghana. Ghana does not make djembe, it's not their tradition. They started making djembe about 10, 20 years ago to make money. So we can tell by the carvings and the symbols they put on, which are dinkran. This is Ghanaian stuff. They play fontom from walking drum and other stuff, but they didn't really play djembe at all. Now if you see this rope here, there's a metal ring here and a metal ring here. The rope goes up and down. So it's the original rope, which is this, which is anywhere from 65 to 85 feet, is woven around the drum, and you pull it tight. You pull it tight with tools to tune it. That's how you get the djembe. If you look at from the bottom, it looks like this. This is made from like twinaboa or mango. They're softer woods. They're from Ghana. It's good for carving. It's a good carve. But invariably, a lot of times what happens is the wood has to be thick. On the next one I show you, it won't be so thick. This is a softer wood called twinaboa or mango, made in Ghana. So that's why the base is so thick. The next few drums I show you will be thinner. But as I said, the wood is more molecularly dense. When you talk about linge, dimba, batinke, it's a harder wood than all the wood you have here and what they have in Ghana. Ghana's tradition doesn't make djembe, doesn't play djembe, but they started carving it because they wanted to make money. So they made money. Here's one carved linge, softer wood. You can see, not softer, harder rather. You can see the same principle. The shell, there are two rings here. Then you see the weave, the carving, the weave. How they weave the rope, right? Up and down, around. This one has a tire on the bottom to stop it from hitting the wood, but it's not as thick as that. If you hit the wood with your hand, it's harder. This is linge. It's a softer color wood, but it's very, very hard. This is what they use to carve different djembes with. This, linge, batinke, dimba, these are the woods. You can see it from the bottom. Each djembe has a goblet shape. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. That determines the sound you get out of it and the hold in here, the pitch. So each drum has got a different sound. They're not all the same. Here's the last one, is Kangaba drum, made in Mali. Okay? We can tell by the symbols that we put on it which part of Africa it's from. This is Malian. We can tell by the if you want to say the symbols, the African symbols. The wood is here, same thing. The only difference I have three instruments on here. English, I think you called it a cymbal. We call it kisankasank, or we call it sege sege. In West Africa, we don't call it cymbal. You can tell by the hole. You can see the hole, and you see how thick it is, about half an inch or less. But if you hear it, it's a very solid, very, very solid wood. That is the primary difference between the woods here and the woods that you have in America, the pine, cedar, and all that. They're not as hard as these woods. Now, as I was saying, it's oral tradition, so we're going to name the parts, and we're going to say in different languages. We may say, if I told you Inisoma, 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 you hear it, but you're hearing the sound of the drum, how to get that. So that bass tone slap is going to be used. The bass, Senegal say the bass is bin. Slap is ta. Tone is P or D. Which means if I said diggy, diggy is Tata, digitata, digitata bin. So you begin to hear how we're talking. In other countries, they don't say it the same way. They may say gungorapata, they may say bigipata, but we do drum enough, we can figure out what we're really saying. So there's a language that's on tonality talking about the sound that you're going to produce from the drum. Now I'm going to show you, so we will say all this orally, but remember, you have to produce it. Do not stand here and look at your hands. It won't do anything except frustrate you. If you look at someone else's hands, you can't play looking at theirs because you need to focus on what you're doing. So the same as you walk and you don't have to look at your feet, you have to play the drum and pay attention physically of what you're doing. It's tactile. Now I'm going to show you the call. The call is the sound to tell you what the rhythm is, either how fast or how slow. Here we go. Ta 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 ta. 5 piti piti ta 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 piti ta piti ti ti ta ta ta. You're hearing 5 tones and then 3 slaps. That is the sound for beginning of a rhythm. So we'll use this to begin different rhythms and we'll go in from there. Now we're going to show you how to get the sound out of a djembe, how you touch it with your hands and how you use that to get the different sounds out of a djembe. 3 basic sounds: tone, slap, bass. I'm going to put the camera tighter and we'll start doing that right now. If you see a djembe and right here you carve it. You put your hands like this, like you're praying, turn your hands like that, there you got the djembe. Right here on your hand, across here, if you hit right there, you don't tighten your hand, just you get that deeper sound. That's called tone. There's 2 ways to do it. One way is to do this. Another way, we put our hands here. Bass, right here in the middle. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. Tone, slap, bass. Your first beginning phrase is baram baram. Baram baram. Baram baram. Baram baram. Baram baram. Sing. Baram baram. Baram baram. Baram baram. Open your mouth. Baram baram. Baram baram. Here's your baram baram, the same thing we played on the bass and the same thing you said, except I'm going to show you with my hands. Here you go. If you cannot switch hands, don't worry. Stay with your right hand or stay with your left hand and keep it steady. Baram baram, baram baram, baram baram, Ba-dum, ba-dum. What we did was baram baram. We did it on the bass, the djembe, on the dun dun sangban tinkine. Then we did it on the drum, and it made you sing it. As you sing the rhythm, you'll be able to keep it. Then we played it. I played baram baram real slow with the clap. Then I sped up and had more fun. Then I did baram baram diggy diddy, which makes you sync in your left hand and right hand together, the coordination. So you start out slow. If you do it slow, you remember it. If you think you can do it fast, no, you crawled before you walked. Remember, before you crawled, you had to fall in your face and all of that. Then you crawled and you fell on your face for about 5 or 6 months, and eventually you learn how to walk and run without falling down. Same thing here. Your coordination will improve. If you sing it, you'll keep it. You don't sing it, it's going to be difficult. Now I'm going to do all 6 of the patterns. I'm going to do each one 8 times, and in between will be the call. I'm going to do it real slow so you can catch on to what I'm doing. And it's going to start with baram baram. So if you sing that, and once you play the other ones, it's a bass rhythm. They all tie in there synchronistically together. Here we go. And these are some of the accompaniment parts to rhythms that you'll get to in a second. I'll show you some basic parts. Pop-ita, pop-ita, pop-ita.